Now we will see about Modbus protocol. Many protocols have been designed for the needs of industrial automation and metering. These protocols generally use simple query response models and allow for extremely simple implementation. Nowadays, so many protocols have been designed specially for industrial automation purpose and various metering applications. Those protocols have been usually worked on the basis of query and response model. Means what? One query is generated, that query has been passed to various subordinates. That particular query will be processed and response will be generated, and that response will be sent to the query generator. This type of model is usually adopted by various protocols. Those protocols are used for industrial automation purpose. Such protocols are extremely simple for implementation. They are very easy to implement. That's why automation has become very popular due to its simplicity. Many protocols derived from the frame formats defined by IEC 870-5. So there is some frame format which are identified by IEC 870-5, such as these are some protocols, that is T101, DNP 3.0, MBus, Profibus, etc. These are some common frame formats, or these are some common protocols which have been already developed, already defined by IEC 870-5. Other protocols developed independently into de facto standards such as Modbus. So other than these predefined some protocols, there is another protocol, that is your Modbus, which is independently developed protocol into de facto standards. This Modbus is very common protocol used in many industrial and HVAC installation. HVAC stands for heating, ventilating, and air conditioning applications. So this particular Modbus protocol is usually used in various industrial application, as well as it is used in HVAC installation. That means it is used in such application where heating, ventilating, and air conditioning will be implemented. This Modbus is trademark of Modicon Inc., which is a part of your Schneider Electric group. That's why it is named as Modbus, starting from this particular Modicon Inc. This Modbus is an application layer messaging protocol that provides client server communication between devices connected on different types of buses or network. So this particular Modbus protocol is point number 1, application layer messaging protocol. Point number 2, it provides client server communication based activities between various devices connected on different types of buses or different types of network. This is what the Modbus protocol is, which will going to support client server architecture, and it is your application layer messaging protocol. Because of its simplicity, Modbus has become one of the de facto standard for industrial serial message based communication since 1979. So this particular protocol is popular from 1979 because of its simple nature, and this particular simple nature makes this particular Modbus protocol useful in industrial serial message based communication. So whatever communication will happen in case of your various industries, that communication will be serial in nature and it will be based on various messages. So whatever data has been transmitted, that data will be based on various messages, and those messages are passed serially between various industrial applications. That's why it was very much popular from 1979, this Modbus protocol. This Modbus typically runs on the top of RS-232, RS-442.2 or RS-485.2 multi-point link. So it will be on your what? Either RS-232 or RS-442, that is your point-to-point connection, or it will be RS-485, that is your from one point to multi-point link, that is one to many links. This particular Modbus protocol is very much popular in between these particular links. Modbus TCP specification, which was published in 1999, defines an IP-based link layer for Modbus frame. So there was one specification, that is your Modbus TCP. That particular specification was published in 1999, which is your IP-based link layer for Modbus frames. These Modbus devices communicate using master-slave model. So there is one master-slave model. With the help of this particular master-slave model, the devices in your IoT application will be communicating with each other with the help of this Modbus protocol. So let us see what is this particular master-slave model is. Here you can see that this one is your Modbus master and this one is your Modbus slave. So there will be the communication between this master and slave devices. Query will be generated from master and that query will be sent from master to slave. What slave will do? Slave will going to unpack this particular query. It will going to generate some response and that response will be sent to the master. This response will always be based on query received from master. So whatever master will going to send in the form of query to the slave, slave will always generate some response which was related with previously specified query only, and that particular response will be sent to that master. Here you can see that there is some device addresses, there will be some function code, there will be query data, and there will be error check. So these are some parameters that are encapsulated with this particular query. Modbus slave will going to analyze all these parameters and it will going to generate some response with the help of same parameters, and that particular response will be sent to master. So the first parameter was Modbus addresses. In that particular diagram, the first parameter was Modbus addresses. So what exactly those addresses are and what is the use of that particular address is? This Modbus message will always begin by target 8-bit address that can take any decimal value between 1 to 247. So always Modbus address will be your 8-bit address that can start from 1 to 247, starting from any number between 1 to 247. 0 is used for broadcast purpose. Address field of message frame contains 2 characters in ASCII mode. It will have whatever address field, whatever Modbus address will have, it will have 2 characters which will be in your ASCII mode. That ASCII mode characters will be the part of your what address field. Each query contains address of specific slave. Yes, because there will be one master and there will be many slave. So whatever query have been generated, that query will be passed to which slave. How it will be identified? That particular slave will be identified with the help of address of every slave, which will be unique in nature. When it responds, that is when that particular slave will going to respond, slave will include its own address in the message. Why? Because master must know which slave have sent the response. That's why whenever slave is going to send the message, slave will going to include its own address in the message while sending that particular message to the master. Then second parameter in that particular communication between master and slave is your Modbus functions. The function code field contains 2 characters in ASCII mode and 8 bits in RTU mode. There are 2 modes in case of your Modbus protocol. One mode is your ASCII mode and second mode is your RTU mode. Whenever we are talking about Modbus function, that particular function code field will going to have 2 characters in ASCII mode and 8 bits in RTU mode. This particular 8-bit can take any decimal value between 1 to 255. It will be selected based on the device application profile for which application that particular Modbus is used. On the basis of that particular application, this functionality have been selected. For example, 0 into 02 that will be used for read input state. 0 into 11 will be for report the slave ID. If you want to identify what is the ID of that particular slave, then this particular code will be used. And this particular code will be your what? ASCII code that can be used for identification purpose. This is another part in your what? Master slave communication, that is your Modbus functions. Then next is your Modbus data field. It provides application level information as required by the Modbus function. Whatever Modbus function we have discussed in previous slide, that particular Modbus function will require this particular data field. That particular data field will going to provide application level information. Which application is this? What application will going to do? All this application level information will be stored in this particular data field, which will be required by Modbus functions. When a given Modbus function requires variable size data, the data field begins with the byte count of that particular data. So whenever that particular Modbus function is going to require some variable size of data, at that time it will going to start the counting in byte count for message passing purpose. Then next is your Modbus TCP. This Modbus TCP will going to provide TCP IP access to the Modbus functionality. Whatever functionalities of Modbus protocol we have discussed, that particular functionality will be given by TCP IP protocol. Each Modbus request response is sent over a TCP connection established between master and slave, which will be specifically using port number 502. So what will happen? Every time Modbus will going to establish the TCP connection between master and slave. That connection will be based on your request response model, and this particular connection will usually be established on port number 502. TCP connection may reuse for several query response exchange. Whenever there will be the TCP connection, that single TCP connection can be used many times for sending queries and receiving the response between master and slave. So this is called as your query response exchange. Once the connection is established between master and slave, then many times request and response can be exchanged between master and slave. Byte content of the Modbus request and response frame is simply transported over the TCP connection. So whatever data will be sent over the TCP connection between master and slave in the form of request and response, that particular message, that particular data will be in terms of your byte content, and that particular byte content will always be transported over the TCP connection between master and slave.